This is the Savvy Investor radio show and podcast. For help with your retirement, schedule a 15-minute phone conversation with the team at ProStatus Financial Advisors today. Just call 866-597-1040 and at thesavvyinvestorradio.com.
Welcome back to the Savvy Investor Radio Show and podcast with the team at ProStatus Financial. Katherine Groce is here today. Ryan Herbert is here today as we talk through some of the issues of retirement. And right at the top of that list, of course, is 401ks. So, Ryan, Secure Act 1, Secure Act 2, there were some changes in some retirement planning rules, and this one is in Secure Act Part 2, and next year it goes into effect. So listen closely. If you're 50 years old or older and you're putting money into a 401k, you have that catch-up provision. You can put in a little extra than anybody else can. As a matter of fact, $11,250. But starting next year, if you make $145,000 a year or more, that catch-up has to go into a Roth. It can't go into your regular 401k. Now, if you have a Roth 401k within your employer plan, great, put it in there. If you have your own Roth, great, put it in there. But if you don't have either one of those things, you lose the ability to use the catch-up provision. That could be a problem. So, Ryan, talk to me. How do you think this affects people? Is this kind of a nothing burger, or is this, is this something that we really need to be taking into consideration here?
I think it's something that everybody needs to be considerate of. 2018 is where they passed the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, and then shortly thereafter was the Secure Act. And companies have had the ability to add a Roth 401k to the 401k plan for years. I ever since then, I would say probably about 90 to 95% of plans actually have it in place. And so for most people, it's not a non-issue, because if you're putting all that money in pre-tax, all of a sudden, if you're maxing it out, you're doing the full catch up, all of a sudden you're going to pay tax on $11,000 more than you otherwise would. It's going to change your tax situation. So it is something that you absolutely need to be aware of. But I think that if you don't have a Roth 401k available to you, you need to go to your employer, get your coworkers involved as well. Go to your employer and say to them, hey, you are going to make us lose out on the ability to save money in retirement. We used to be able to put this extra $11,000 in our accounts. And now, because you don't offer a Roth 401k, I can't do that. I can't properly save for my retirement. Go to your employer and tell them, you get the Roth 401k going. It's the regulation's been there for a number of years for you to be able to do it. Go ahead and do that. But I think that, if you're putting all of your money right now, all of it pre-tax, and you're maxing out the 401k, I do think that you are still doing yourself a disservice, because if you think about where we have been since 2018, we have been in the lowest tax rates we have seen since the Reagan years. Why not pay tax on that money now by contributing to a Roth 401k? Pay tax on the money now so that in the future, when you're retired, whether it's 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 or 40, or maybe even 50 years from now, I firmly believe that taxes are going to go up. I mean, every single year, it seems like we're having these issues with the government. The government shut down. They're arguing over budget. None of these problems are going to go away with spending more money on, all the stuff they're arguing about. We should be spending money on this, not on that. We can't continue to just spend and cut taxes, keep taxes low. Taxes have to go up in the future to pay for all these government programs. And I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. I think we can all agree that taxes have to go up. So why not put that money away now at a lower tax rate? That way, in the future, it's tax-free, and we don't care about what happens to taxes. That's the biggest impotence that I can put on things for people when they come in and they sit down with myself and my team, is that let's look at doing Roth conversions now to help save you money on taxes. You want to have a proper tax plan in place so that you can create these various streams of income in retirement. And Katherine and I were talking the other day about really the importance of of tax diversification. And if you want to find out what tax diversification can mean for you, call the office, 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040, or visit us on our website at thesavvyinvestorradio.com. That's thesavvyinvestorradio.com. Click on the button at the top of the page. It says schedule my call right there without ever having to pick up the phone, and find out what options are available to you for proper tax planning in retirement using our tax diversification technique.
Katherine, many times in 401ks, the advice from people are, put as much as you can in there, get your match, all that kind of thing. And then after the match, then take that money and invest it. So these are people that are saying, okay, what else can I do with my 401k money? All right. So there are other alternatives out there for people, as Ryan was just saying, for tax diversification. What are they?
So one of the things that we look at as a part of tax diversification is using things like Roth IRAs, Roth 401ks. And then when we're maximizing those and we're looking for other places to put tax-free money, we begin to look at cash value life insurance as another tool in our tool belt for tax-free savings. That's another way to save tax-free without limits. And it also allows that money to grow tax-free. And they've never changed the rules on taxability of cash value life insurance. They've changed the rules on how Roth IRAs are taxed, I think like 3 or 4 times in the last 50 years or so. So that's why tax diversification is so important. When you come into our office, we're going to look at how much you've saved pre-tax, how much you've saved tax-free. And we're going to put together a plan to see if doing Roth conversions or saving in other tax-free vehicles will get you in a better position in retirement. And some people it makes sense and some people it doesn't. It's not a one size fits all plan. Some people will come in and we look at doing Roth conversion plan and they'll save a couple millions of dollars by doing tax planning. Other clients will come in or prospects will come in and we'll show them, maybe you'll save about $60,000 in taxes over your lifetime, but for the kids and the grandkids, it's a no-brainer. So again, it's about coming in and sitting down with us because we're tax professionals and we're looking at the diversification of your tax buckets in retirement. And does it make sense to do tax planning and what the results of that tax planning will be if you have a plan for that.
So, Ryan, one of the things that people will hear about that kind of money is, you have qualified money, you have unqualified money, tax deferred money, tax free money. When she talks about having diversification, I think of I have different buckets of money. I have saving, I have 401k, I have pension, I have this. And how am I going to access those different buckets? But what Katherine is saying is we've got different tax buckets as well. Can you kind of break that down a little bit for me?
I mean, most people think that really the only source of tax-free money for retirement is a Roth 401k or even certain municipal bonds. And people tend to disregard life insurance as an investment vehicle. And kind of, I don't blame most people because if you can think back to the late 80s, early 90s, insurance salesmen literally went door to door to sell whole life insurance or universal life insurance or variable life insurance. And the pitch was, you put $20 a month in it, $100 a month in it for the next 20 years. 20 years from now, this money is going to be worth, $900, $800, $1 million. Well, it didn't really work out that way because they were running these projections based on the stock market just going up and up and up because that's what the stock market had been doing for years. But what Katherine's referencing is there's the part of the tax code that they have changed all different areas of it. They've changed the rules for contributing to Roth. They've changed the limitations. They've changed all that stuff. But what they haven't changed is the tax code regarding life insurance. And really what the government is trying to do is take the reliance of its citizens off of themselves by having people reliant upon Social Security and take that risk onto themselves, but then also allow them to still transfer that risk over to something like an insurance company. And there are specific portions of the tax code that say with certain types of life insurance, when it's properly designed, you can have the money in there growing tax-free. Stock market goes up, my money goes up. I'm not paying taxes on that money as it grows. And there's also certain ways to get your money out in a tax-free nature and create these income streams. And the moment most people, when they hear the word life insurance, I do see, their eyes not really roll, but kind of, I see the look on their face of, oh, this guy's just trying to sell me life insurance. And I always try and preface it from the perspective of, listen, life insurance, as far as a death benefit at this point in your life, when you're 65 or 68 or even 70 years old, there's probably not a point to it. Life insurance is good for, a few things. Number one is paying off debt. So if you have a outstanding mortgage and you want to pay off that mortgage for your surviving spouse, yes, you should have it for death benefit purposes. Two is to make somebody rich. You want to leave a massive legacy behind. You can use life insurance for that. But what people always ignore is using life insurance for the tax-free nature of the investment vehicle. And what we are doing when we do this is we say, if I'm going to put in $10,000 a year, $15,000 a year, give me the smallest death benefit legally possible to maintain this tax-free nature. And by doing that, what we're saying is let's create the smallest fee structure we possibly can inside of this life insurance, because the larger the death benefit, the greater the fees. Everybody wants to pay less money in fees. So let's lower the fees to the least amount possible while still allowing it to stay this tax-free vehicle under the plan. That way it can grow as much as possible. And, when you use policies like index universal life insurance, what it says is stock market goes up, my money goes up, stock market goes down, nothing happens to my money. I don't lose money. I just pay my fee. But it's another tool in the financial advisor's tool chest of here are the various ways we can create income in retirement. Yeah, we can take money out of your 401k. Yes, we can take it out of your IRA. If you have a Roth IRA, we can take money from there. If you have a non-IRA account, we can use capital gains. But let's take some of this money that we've been doing, kind of the way we structure it is when we do our Roth conversions, let's take money out of our IRA, put some money in Roth. Let's take some of that money that we've also converted and go use it to buy this life insurance. Because what happens if all of a sudden the federal government says, oh, hey, we encourage you to convert all this money over to a Roth account. Now we're going to change around how it's taxed. Now we're going to say, as of 2035, everything you had in there is tax-free, but from now on, all the earnings we're going to tax. We're going to tax it on a yearly basis or when you take it out. It's not impossible for them to do it. It's something they could certainly do. But when we look back at history, they have not changed those tax codes on life insurance. So it just makes it, another way to diversify, another way to hedge your bets against the government coming in and trying to change tax code to generate this tax revenue that we desperately need. And if you want to find out, whether or not cash value life insurance makes sense for you, whether tax diversification makes sense for you, or whether even Roth conversion is the right thing for you and your family to do, give us a call at 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040, or visit us on the website at thesavvyinvestorradio.com. If you save $500,000 or more, because that really is where the power of tax planning and tax diversification starts to show through, give us a call, 866-597-1040, or visit us on the website, thesavvyinvestorradio.com. There's a button right at the top of the page that gets you right to our calendar.
There's a lot of options out there for our 401ks that you might not be aware of. Mom always said, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And I get that as far as diversifying your money. But do you think about diversifying your money as far as how it is treated tax-wise? That's an important decision, and that's an important discussion to have. Give us a call. Give us a look on the website at thesavvyinvestorradio.com, or give us a call, 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040. If you've saved $500,000 or more for retirement, this is where you're really going to see the planning, the power, and what comes from that kind of planning in your retirement. Give us a look, 866-597-1040, or thesavvyinvestorradio.com. Well, that is all the time we have on the Savvy Investor Radio Show and podcast for today. Catherine, I'll give you the last word on this one.
This is Katherine Groce. Thank you for listening to the Savvy Investor Radio.
And this is Ryan Herbert. We'll see you, the Savvy Investor, next week.
Advisory services offered through ProStatus Financial Advisors Group, a registered investment advisor. Insurance licensed in Maryland. ProStatus Financial Advisors Group LLC is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if ProStatus Financial Advisors Group is licensed in your state, please call 410-863-1040. ProStatus Group LLC is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through representatives of ProStatus Financial Advisors Group.